Welcome to Must See Films. My name is Darren, and this channel is helping you see films differently. A piece of writing advice I received recently has led me back to the work of Tarantino, known for his violence and redemption stories, but also his colourful and unforgettable characters. The advice surrounded the idea of creating great characters and knowing them well enough to write fully realised people. The advice was, know who your characters are when they are alone, and know who they are presenting themselves to be around others. Now at first glance this seems like character and characterization.
Superman wakes up in the morning, he's Superman. His alter ego is Clark Kent. His outfit with the big red S, that's the blanket he was wrapped in as a baby when the Kents found him. Those are his clothes. What Kent wears, the glasses, the business suit, that's the costume. That's the costume Superman wears to blend in with us.
But digging into it a little bit deeper, the question is really getting at the kind of thinking your character has about themselves, their viewpoint on the world, and how to present themselves within it. Really, we're talking about two sides of a person, a neutral, informal state that a character expresses when alone or relaxed in comfortable company, and then secondly, a heightened and more dramatic state when they take on a certain kind of persona. Now this video will explore examples of this and try to explain why this is useful for creating and revealing great characters. The only difference between an informal state and a dramatic state from the character's point of view is that they're playing a role, they're playing a character.
Look man, an undercover cop's gotta be Marlon Brando, right? To do this job, you gotta be a great actor. You gotta be naturalistic. You gotta be naturalistic as hell.
There are subtle and not so subtle examples of this all throughout cinema, but some of the most entertaining and clear examples are in the films of Tarantino. So let's take a look here at Jules from Pulp Fiction, having some of the best dialogue in the film, but most notably in this scene.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
This heightened dramatic scene is even more powerful and revealing because of its juxtaposition and contrast to its informal scene moments before. Starting in the car, we see Jules engaged in a back and forth.
Royale with you.
This will contrast with the very one-sided conversation and leading role he takes on later.
Hey, keep chilling.
We see them argue over a point of view.
Still, I have to say, you play with matches, you get burned.
What do you mean?
You don't be giving Marcellus Wallace's new bride a foot massage.
You don't think he overreacted?
Well, Antoine probably didn't expect Marcellus to react the way he did, but he had to expect a reaction.
It was a foot massage. A foot massage is nothing. I give my mother a foot massage.
No, it's laying your hands in a familiar way on Marcellus's new wife.
This sets up a story point later on.
You heard Marcellus threw Tony Rocky Horror out of a 4-story window for giving me a foot massage? Can you believe that?
Well, I mean, at the time I was told it sounded reasonable.
Fun fact about this tracking shot here, the song that we hear moving through the hallway is Strawberry Letter 23.
A foot massage is nothing. I give my mother a foot massage.
No, it's laying your hands in a familiar way on Marcellus's new wife.
Which is used again in Tarantino's next film, Jackie Brown. Now, the length of this conversation and tracking shot are all designed to make the audience wait and relax before the upcoming action. This is my favourite example of the audience being made to wait as the camera literally refuses to follow them and waits by the door.
Well, look, just because I wouldn't get no man a foot massage, don't make it right for Marcellus to throw Antoine off a building.
Note Jules' line as he makes the transition from informal into preparation for the upcoming drama.
Come on, let's get in character.
Not only are these scenes in conversation with each other, but it works on the same premise as an effective action film. But some action films are numbing and overwhelming, but the best action films are the ones which the audience cares about the outcome of the characters, because the audience are invested in the characters through thorough and effective storytelling. There are many examples of writers and directors who have found the effective balance for this, but since we're talking about Tarantino, let's take a look at the example from Dusk Till Dawn. This is an extreme example of this technique, where the structure of the film is shaped to support this technique.
Part of the advantage of the picture we're doing is that there's no horror for the first half of the movie, so that you can really invest yourself with the characters and feel part of the movie before anything happens to them that you don't want to happen to them, so that you really, feel the horror a little bit more.
He writes these incredibly believable people who you really kind of embrace as yourself and take into your heart, and then, after you've totally assimilated with these people, then he literally puts them through hell, and because he's Stephen King, you know the kind of stuff he's doing, he's not afraid to take them anywhere. So now it's really painful. Right. All right, because you truly do care about these people. They're not stick figures, all right?
Now, this isn't reserved for action films. Let's look at another example here from Reservoir Dogs and try to explain why this is an effective technique. Let's start this time with the informal scene, because many heightened counterparts come out of this opening. Firstly, it gives us a unique chance to see our characters without the stakes and pressures of heavier scenes, giving us a glimpse into the character's natural state and revealing some of their true character.
But you guys are like making me lose my train of thought here. I was saying something. What was it?
This scene very subtly leaves clues and foreshadows many story points later on. The closeness of Orange and White, the argument of White and Blonde.
Hey, Joe. Want me to shoot this guy? Shit. You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
The difference in point of view of Pink and White.
But tip these guys over here. That's
Waitressing is the #1 occupation for female non-college graduates in this country. It's the one job basically any woman can get and make a living on. The reason is because of their tips.
These kind of scenes can also be used as a rehearsal before difficult choices. This gives us a chance to see our characters struggling with something, feel their vulnerability, and understand their uncertainty and tension during these key dramatic moments.
So, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna say goodnight, I've had a very lovely evening. Walk out the door, get in the car.
I think it's difficult to measure the effectiveness of this contrast for the audience, and how useful that is as a tool to understand the feeling of our characters. The contrast also serves as a story device, useful at different points in the story, but intense action is even more effectively contrasted immediately after the calming scenes. This allows the audience to relax into the world and then be moved into shock.
Sorry! I can't. She killed me, man! You got that! Hey!
But is this an early Tarantino technique, or is this something that's been going throughout his body of work?
When we gain access to these plantations, we'll be putting on an act. You'll be playing a character. But during the act, you can never break character. And now, Django, you may choose your character's costume.
You was gonna let me pick out my own clothes?
Well, I speak the most Italian, so I'll be your escort. Donovan speaks second most, so he'll be your Italian cameraman. Omar third most, so he'll be Donnie's assistant.
I don't speak Italian.
Like I said, third best. Just keep your mouth shut. In fact, why don't you start practicing right now?
Dominic De Coco.
Come in.
Dominic De Coco.
Bravo. Bravo.
Perhaps this fascination has come from Tarantino's early love of acting.
Clarence Poole Show. Now, I'm sorry, I don't play requests. Because when I'm Jock, I play what I want to play when I want to play. Oh, someday maybe you can be a Jock and you can play what you want to play. Oh, if your taste is respected as mine, you will.
Let's finish here with a scene from the highly underrated Jackie Brown. Here we have a shot that goes back to the idea of scenes being in conversation with each other. In this instance, Tarantino has chosen to show them side by side. This split screen simultaneously reveals and peaks information for the audience, creating even more meaning in the action. Coming back to the idea that Pixar director Andrew Stanton once shared, that drama is anticipation mingled with uncertainty.
Is that what I think it is?
What do you think it is?
I think it's a gun pressed up against my dick.